Rasulun, 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 Rasul. Nabiyun, 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 Nabi.
What's the punishment? Allah says, وَمَنْ عَادَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Whosoever persists in riba, the punishment for them is the fire of hell, and they will remain therein forever. Forever. Is it only the one who is lending on interest? Or what about the fellow who borrow money on interest to build a house? What about he? The Prophet ﷺ spoke, and he cursed. He cursed all four. He cursed them. And he said that they were all equally guilty. Who? The one who take riba. He lend him money on interest, or he put the money in a fixed deposit and he take the riba. Muhammed ﷺ cursed him. Cursed him. Cursed him. He have a chance at all when he stands before Allah. The one who gives riba. He took a loan on interest and he paid the interest. Muhammad ﷺ cursed him, cursed him, cursed him. Do you think people care? I could repeat it a dozen times. Do you think people care today? No. It doesn't matter. Does anyone teach the subject? Is anyone going around to the masajid, to the Muslim community and teaching the subject of riba? No. No, nobody wants to teach the subject. He cursed the one who takes riba. He cursed the one who gives riba. He cursed the one who records the transaction. And he cursed the two witnesses. And he said they're all equally guilty. The very last revelation to come down in the Quran, just before the death of the Prophet ﷺ, was on this subject, riba. Yes. And the Prophet warned us about riba. It doesn't matter, he says, whether the interest rate is high or whether it's low. 25% or 2%. He says the end will still be the same. People go end up in poverty and destitution. It's just a matter of time. When the rate high, they go reach poverty and destitution faster. If the rate is low, they go take more time. But eventually, they'll be in poverty and destitution. But when the people are deliberately targeted by riba, then what you're looking at is slavery. Have we reached that stage today? Are the masses around the world now living in poverty and destitution? We may not be able to see it that good in Trinidad, you know. Because in Trinidad, if you're earning $3,000 and less a month, you're under the poverty line. $3,000 a month? Eh? Man, it have people in the world today ain't getting even $30 a month. Huh? Salamatullah. MashaAllah. Welcome, Sheikh Ali Mustafa. If you go to Bangladesh, if you go to Indonesia, if you go to Egypt, you will see poverty. If you go to Africa, you will see poverty that you've never seen in this country. Those are the countries which have been massacred by riba and are now in a new state of slavery. The Prophet ﷺ warned. He said, the time will come when you will not be able to find a single person in all of mankind who will not be consuming riba. And whosoever claims he is not consuming riba, verily the dust of riba would be upon him. Verily the vapor of riba would reach him. I want to say to you that we are living in that age today. But we're sleeping. Nobody is losing any sleep over the subject of riba. And when you attempt to teach the subject of riba, people vex with you. Yes? People living comfortably, going to sleep comfortably, singing qasida day and night. While riba has taken total control of the economy around the world today. Now we can see what is the state of a people who say, we are following the Quran and Sunnah, when in fact they have abandoned both the Quran and the Sunnah, and they're not even aware of it. Riba is not only borrowing and lending on interest. Riba is also any transaction through which you rip off people. You rip off people. That is also riba. Any rip-off. Well, the biggest rip-off of all, since our father Adam alayhi salam set foot on earth, the biggest rip-off of all is a rip-off called money. Yes. But who bothers about the subject? Who teaches the subject? Nobody. Nobody cares about it. You have Darul Ulooms all over the world. You have Muftis all over the world. Nobody cares about it. Nobody teaches the subject. And yet the snake is pumping its venom into the Muslim community around the world, paralyzing us. The Prophet ﷺ gave us money. We call it Sunnah money. We never even heard the term of Sunnah money. What is Sunnah money? It's also in the Quran. It's not just Sunnah, it's also in the Quran. It is gold and silver coins. Gold and silver coins. That money is money where the value is inside the money. And then the Jews and the Christians substituted that money with paper. On Sunday we're going to be dealing with this subject in detail. But guess what happened when you abandon Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? You abandon him and you follow the Jews and Christians down into the lizard's hole. And you start using the paper. And you, of course, you're singing qasida down in the lizard's hole as well. When you work for a whole month and you get your salary with a gold coin, and that money could buy a camel, and you carry your money home, you give it to your wife, she put it away. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later, you take it out. Demand and supply remaining constant, you could still buy the camel. Yeah. Because the value of the money is in the money, intrinsic. But guess what happens when you abandon Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam? You abandon Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and you're using the paper money. You get your salary. Instead of giving you a gold coin, they give you paper now. It could buy a camel, eh? So you carry the money home, you give it to your dullahin. Then she put it away. 5 years later, you take it out. Can't buy a camel anymore, could only buy a donkey now. You're laughing? It's not a laughing matter. No? You lose the whole month of your sweat